In classic Nintendo fashion, we randomly got a massive announcement this morning for a Nintendo Switch 2 version of Animal Crossing New Horizons, as well as a huge new update to the base game. Now, if you would have told me a couple years ago, or even last year, that I would wake up to news like this, I would be over the moon. However, after watching the trailer and taking some time to digest things, I came to the conclusion that my predominant emotion here is unfortunately disappointment. So in this video, I want to talk about exactly where that disappointment stems from, as well as get into some general thoughts on the future of one of my favorite video game franchises. Before I get into that though, I just want to say thanks for being here and clicking on the video. If you enjoyed today's content, please be sure to give it a like and consider hitting that subscribe button. It sounds cheesy, but every subscription really does mean the world to me, and just seeing that number go up by one makes my day. So please click that button if you enjoy. And now let's get into today's video. Alright, so like many others, I completely thought that New Horizons was just dead. I believe that Nintendo even said that the last update we got for it years ago was the last one we were getting, and it's been radio silent on that game for years. So I was shocked when I woke up and saw on my YouTube feed that there was a new announcement for not only the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, but also a huge new title update. So I watched the trailer, and I felt my disappointment just seeping in the more I watched. So let's talk about exactly why I came away a little bit undersold on this video. So let's start with the content itself. The Switch 2 stuff that's being added. There's some cool stuff here. The resolution upgrade that they showed looks pretty minimal, but you know, better graphics is always a good thing. So that's great. Mouse controls are the other big thing that the Nintendo Switch 2 version gets. And again, this is a pretty cool quality of life feature. This makes a lot of sense for a game like Animal Crossing. But speaking as somebody who has had a Switch 2 since launch and has still never even once used the mouse controls, I don't think this edition is really for me. But it's cool that it's there. Just again, not really moving the needle that much for me. And then I believe the last thing is they're adding more people to online play. I think you can have 12 people now. I never once even got 8 people together. So again, nothing in the Nintendo Switch 2 version is really doing much for me, but I was more excited about the title update. So let's talk about that. So the main feature that they really sold for the 3.0 update that they kicked things off with is the beachside hotel that your island is getting. And this looks like a pretty basic concept where you have islanders come to visit, stay at your hotel, they request certain themes, and then you have to build out their rooms with those themes, and then you get a certain currency for it, and then you can exchange the currency for exclusive items in the gift shop. So, cool idea on the surface, but does anybody else think this sounds exactly like the Happy Home Paradise DLC that they released years ago? The more I watched this part of the video, I was just kind of confused because I'm not sure what this adds to the Animal Crossing New Horizons package. This is exactly what you did in the DLC, except you went to a different island and then you could design different facilities and design vacationers' homes to look the way they wanted, to match certain themes. It's all basically exactly what we're getting here. The only difference is this particular hotel is on your island, and you don't have to go to another island to engage with this system. So I'm not sure if this is here to just appeal to people who didn't get the DLC. But like I said, this is kind of a strange addition in my eyes. And I'm never going to complain about more content. But again, I don't really understand the appeal here when we have something very, very similar, but more fleshed out in the DLC that we had years ago. So again, I'm kind of scratching my head on this one. I think the next thing that they talked about was the Dream Island feature, where now if you go to sleep, you can build an island in your dreams. You have 3 different slots where you can customize a brand new island, and you have a little bit more freedom over how you design things because it is a dream. And you can have friends come and help you with the island construction. And again, all this is cool, but it just to me feels like content for content's sake. Like, I don't really see myself engaging with this. I feel like creating a dream island kind of loses some of the charm and the point of working on your island where you're going to have a bunch of real villagers living there and you feel like you're designing facilities and paths and roads and homes for them. I I don't know. To me, when you're just doing it in some dream landscape, kind of loses some of the charm. And maybe it's just me, but the way it was shown with like the dream music playing in the background and it kind of seemed a little bit creepy to me. Like it seemed off. And again, more content's never a bad thing, but this doesn't seem like something I'm going to necessarily engage in either. So again, nothing really moving the needle for me on that front either. And then the third key thing was Rossetti is back. And it's great to see Rossetti. He was always MIA for New Horizons and that always bummed me out. So I'm glad he's here, even if he does seem less cranky than he should be. But he's here basically as a huge quality of life addition where he can mass wipe out things or put things into storage for you and basically makes mass island construction and renovation easier. This is a good thing. And I'm not going to complain about this, even though part of me does kind of feel like an old man saying back in my day, we had to clear out things by hand and we had to go brick by brick to really customize and edit our islands. And I think it's good that this is here, but I do feel like maybe a little bit of the charm is lost when you actually did have to spend like days editing your island. Yeah, it just, I feel like I can't help but feel like this is going to be a little bit less rewarding. I remember when New Horizons first came out in 2020, I spent like a week making my island perfect. Just putting on a podcast, listening to music, zoning out, and just doing mass island renovation. And I feel like Rossetti being here kind of steps on the toes of that a little bit. But again, I don't want to sound like an old man screaming at the clouds. Like, I'm going to let this one go. I do think that this is a good thing overall. Again, it just doesn't get me super excited about returning to New Horizons. I will say, though, credit where credit is due. It is awesome that they are bringing Nintendo crossovers here. You have the classic Nintendo consoles you can get at the store now. You can actually play the games on your console. I think they showed like Ice Climbers. That's super cool. And then, of course, there's the Zelda crossover where you actually can have Zelda characters come live at your island by scanning the amiibo. There's Zelda items. There's Splatoon stuff. For me, this was always something that felt really badly missing from New Horizons, especially because it was so prominently featured in New Leaf. So I'm super, super happy that more Nintendo crossovers are here. Hopefully they add even more, but that is certainly the part that got me the most excited in the trailer. However, the big thing that I found the most disappointing, it doesn't even have to do with the trailer itself. It's more that this is kind of evidence that the next Animal Crossing is further off than I really thought it was going to be. I was pretty convinced that there's a good chance we were going to get the next Animal Crossing game in 2026. And now, with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of New Horizons releasing in January of 2026, this seems way, way less likely. Maybe we would get it at the very end of the year. But now I don't think we're getting the next Animal Crossing until 2027, maybe 2028. And that's a huge bummer. And that was the thing that left me the most bummed today, because as much as I love New Horizons and spent hundreds of hours in that game, I am ready for something new. I'm ready to see the next evolution of the Animal Crossing franchise. And what we saw in the trailer today, I mean, not only was it not that, it just really felt like New Horizons just rehashing a lot of the features it already had. So it just kind of left me a little bit bummed in that regard. And like I said, I'm never going to complain about more content. It is cool that after all these years, New Horizons is back from the dead. And I am looking forward to powering it back on and shocking my villagers who no doubt thought I was dead since I haven't been there for 3 years. So I am excited to play it a little bit more. Ultimately, I was just left wanting a little bit more from this trailer and feeling a little bit bummed out that the next Animal Crossing game is probably still years away. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Am I being too pessimistic? Do you share my concerns, or are you just ready to get back to your island paradise and say hello again to all your furry friends? So let me know your thoughts. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And I will talk to you on the next video.